Well, Jake Nowicker here at Midworld MMA in Bloomsburg, and for our first ever Arena podcast, pre-Arena 22, I have three very special guests with me, all Arena veterans. I'll get to them in a second because first, I'm Jake Nowicker. For our introductions, let's do a little training out of Droogs MMA, white belt, 3 stripes, not bad, and I don't compete for Arena, but obviously I'm the host, commentator, podcast extraordinaire, whatever it be. So let's get to the important people of Arena podcast number 1, starting with...
Hello, my name is James Spina. I train out at Vanguard Academy.
He didn't say his last name the first time. I lied. This isn't really the first take. He messed that up. But you got it right this time. I'm not going to let you get away with that. Anyways, moving on.
My name is Nick Toscano. I train at Momentum Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a brown belt, and I just compete a bunch because I like to, for no other reason, really.
Take it away.
Jack Suddeth out of Calvert MMA. I'm a purple belt there.
Toscano, I just noticed how gnarly your freaking cauliflower ears are. Can we get a camera to look at it? What? How long have you been training this sport?
Take a picture. It'll last longer. No. I want to say, if we're talking cumulatively, I probably have over 10 years now. So it's definitely been a minute. But I didn't really get my cauliflower ears till around my purple belt. And I guess that's because when I really started training my wrestling and just started developing the game that you kind of see me have now, where I'm just very head forward heavy and emphasis a lot on that stuff. And then they both kind of happened at the same time. And I tried to take care of it myself, and it didn't work. And here we are.
No, it's a mark of pride. Don't take care of it. Let it rock. What about you? What do we got here? We got any call? You got a little rounding. This one looks a little, yeah. But how long have you been training? Why don't you have what he has?
Because I haven't been training near as long. I've only been training for about 4 years now.
Okay. Do you want cauliflower ear or something? Is that like a goal?
I don't think so. I don't think that's the goal.
But you know, time isn't the only factor. Like, some people train for like a day and then they just get it. Like, I know white belts that have some pretty crazy cauliflower ear.
I got a little bit on one of the, right here. I got a little bit. It says, because I like to rub heads and stuff.
I know black belts that have none. You know,
I got mine in like my first 7 months of training.
Yeah.
It just happens to some people.
I mean, Nick puts me to shame, but it was like very early on, so I couldn't quit after that. I can't be the white belt with cauliflower ear.
You can't just be ugly and not be able to fight. You just gotta have something to like complement the ugliness.
Mm-hmm.
My dad always told me growing up, I think it was my dad, somebody told me growing up, they said, if you see someone's ears that look like that, you just don't mess with them out in public. So that's why I think it's smart. Like, if I see Spina over here, I'm going to be stupid and be like, yo, what's up, idiot? And then he'll rip my freaking ankle off. But Toscano, I'm not going to touch you. You're good. I'll know my ankle will get shredded. So that's the difference there. Maybe the sleeper is in not having cauliflowers. But anyways, boys, welcome to the podcast. I kind of just want to go down the line and talk about your arena experiences. It's interesting because you haven't competed in a while. Yes. Oppositely on the end of the couch, you compete all the freaking time. Toscano, you're also a frequent flyer. So like, Spina, let's start with you. When's the last time you competed? It's been a while, so why so long?
I haven't competed in arena for a very long time because I did not think that the skill set I had at the time when I last competed was enough to win in this rule set.
I respect that, and you feel like it's different now?
Yes, very different.
When is the last? It's been like...
It's almost a year and a half, I think.
It's
long, over a year, yes.
Then remind me, did you win, lose?
No, I lost both times.
So this card, or not this card, your next experience on arena is like are you looking at it like a must win or like a I'm gonna win? Does that make sense?
I think I would win, like, pretty easily.
And we'll get into call outs and if there's specific people you want later. But Toscano, likewise, like, when's the last time? I don't think I was actually at the last card you competed on, but when's the last time you competed? When do you plan on hopping on again? You're on today, so after that.
I'm on today, but the last time, I think it was June against Zach Radigan. I think I was representing Team HCS, and before that, it was CJ Burkheimer, and, I walked away with the win on both of those. And since then, I've kind of, as you might have even noticed, I've dialed back my competing a bit just because life has taken a hold. I recently got married and just doing all of that other life stuff. So, but now I'm here today, and I'm excited to be here, taking on Luke Staley later, and I've been itching for that match. I'm a giant Luke Staley fan, and
it's a banger.
I've just been trying to get in here with him for so long, so I'm so happy it's finally happening.
And it's funny because right now you're sitting here all chill, you're in your sweats, your sweatshirt, but like in, 2-3 hours, Luke Staley, that's going to be a train-on-train match. Like, you ready to get sweaty, bro?
Oh, yeah. As ready as you can be. You just have to, I find what helps me is just not thinking about it too much, because I know who Luke Staley is. He's a beast of an MMA fighter, beast of a wrestler, beast of a, he's just an overall beast. I've seen him have competitive matches against other beasts like Andrew Cockle and the like. So, he's a beast, and I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. Let's go.
We're all here for it, man. That's a hell of a match. This whole card's great, but that specifically is like UFC fight of the night material written all over it. So very excited, bro. Jack, end of the couch over there. You compete very frequently, like 4 or 5 times this year, 4 or 5 times last year. We're getting sick of you, bro. Stay away. Get off our cards. I'm just kidding. Everybody loves you, Jack. But tell me about that. Why is it important to you to compete with that amount of frequency, to not take any breaks, especially like in a format like this?
Well, I only started training about less than 4 years ago, so I feel like I have a lot of time to make up as far as I'm not as advanced as a lot of these other guys on the roster, so I need to make that up with experience, and I feel like there's no better way to just put yourself out there with the tough competition, and that's where Arena is. I know any match I'll get here is going to be a good competitor, so that's why I like coming back.
I'm going to go down the line with this too, but Jack, I'll start with you just because we're there. Are there matches, names specifically that you want? It doesn't have to be a shit talk type of thing. Can it be out of respect, something that you just want to have a fun match? Are there people you're interested in going up against in 2025?
Anyone at the 155. I know me and Amir had a match in October. We talked about running that back. I think that would be fireworks. John Lopez, our last match, went to a draw. He's the title holder now, so I feel like if we ran that one back, some different results could happen. So I'm down to go with anybody, really.
Toscano, you are somebody who has a lot of the money matches. You're in a weight class where you get the big names, the Cockles, the Staleys, the Burkheimers, a lot of the arena stars, so to speak. You're in the mix there. Are there more of those big matches to be made for you this year?
I know Christian Bobby has made his way into the rankings at 165 recently. I would love to get in there with him because I see him all over the place on Instagram. He's a big name. I know Gojani wants to get in there with me. I'm not sure if he actually doesn't like me or not, or if it's just like an act or whatever. But
me neither.
But either way, I'm here for it if it does happen. Or if he really doesn't like me, then I don't know. I guess pull up to my apartment and let's fight. But
let's keep it in the cage, please.
But I'm here for it whenever it happens, and I'd love some rematches with anyone I've gone against with, really. Of course, I know they got a rematch series coming up, so Cockle, Burkheimer, even though I haven't gone against Luke Staley, I'll take a rematch with him again after tonight, because I'm just here for it. Whoever, Jack, James, if they want to go.
Well, it's interesting you said James, because James, you two have obviously gone against each other, not in arena. Where was it, ADCC?
ADCC Open Atlantic City.
Before I ask you the question, how did that match go? Not even about winning and losing, more so just like the intensity and how was it?
It was good. I didn't really know much about James when I got in there, but right away I could feel the threat of his leg entanglements, so I stayed very cautious in that respect, and happens to be a weakness of mine too. If you watch a lot of my losses, the vast majority of them, it's a tight leg lock that will get me. It's always been one of my weaknesses, and everybody watching, there you go. You notice I compete with knee pads. It's because my knees have always sucked and always will suck. So it's like when I get in a leg lock, I tap. I don't really fight it because I gotta go to work the next day.
Yeah, that's not worth it. Knees are not worth it right now.
For me, it's not, because at the end of the day, as much as I put into this, I do just do it for fun, and I have a job at the end of the day. So it's I gotta eat.
Respectfully, it has to be respectful. I'm not big enough or skilled enough to break this up right now. Is that one you'd like to possibly run back in the cage here?
I don't think I have the wins under my belt in order to get a rematch like that at the moment. But it would be one in the future I wouldn't be opposed to once I do get a win or two.
I respect the honesty, and it's very humble and realistic of you to say, you don't feel like you have the wins. You said earlier, you said something along the lines of you feel like you needed to improve to get back in here. Why not the sometimes typical MMA Brazilian bravado, I'm the best, nobody can fuck with me? Why keep it real, so to speak?
I think for one, to accumulate the skills in order to be the best, they have to be very realistic with themselves, because in a sport like this, you can get very hurt very quickly jumping in with the big boys too early. Yeah. And that's the big thing. I think you have to be very realistic yourself in order to grow as a grappler, whether you're some people say oh, I'm very good at passing, but they're not very good at what they're saying they're good at. You have to be very realistic with yourself at all times.
I couldn't agree more with you. There's in a combat sport, even contact sports, anything like that, you have to, safety's a factor. It's not like basketball. Obviously you can get hurt in basketball, but you're shooting a freaking ball into the net. Here you're literally trying to choke and rip limbs and joints and ligaments. It's a scary sport, so I think that's wise, but Do you think 2025 is the year you do accumulate some wins and get into the talks with the huge matches?
I do think that I have acquired the skill since I've switched schools to Vanguard, that I will be making an appearance in the rankings, if not going for a title match at some point. Whether or not I win or not is a different story. But I think I would be in the rankings at least by the end of 2025.
Excited to fucking see it, yo. And you're talking about switching schools. Something
Yes.
I've written down here I want to ask all of you about is what are some BJJ gym, MMA gym red flags? I see the memes on the internet all the time, you know, like whatever it be. So for people who are watching this, maybe who are thinking about joining a gym or just joined the gym and are wondering if things are normal, what are some red flags? Feel free to discuss amongst yourself.
I think if your coach has never competed, that's a red flag. Obviously, not all coaches are going to compete because like there's an age limit to where you have to stop competing, but it's really you have to know where the experience you're learning is coming from.
Yeah, I mean, to add to that, I would just say a general sense of exclusivity and kind of like, I don't know the words because I'm not good at words, but they don't want you to ask questions. They don't want you to cross-train. They don't want you to see or hear anything but like their word.
You have to wear their rash guard.
Yeah, like, and it's very like what is the goal with that here, right? Because, I mean, none of us know it all except for like Khabib and Gordon Ryan, right? Like, if you're one of those guys, then like, sure, you can say don't listen to anybody but me. But other than that, it's like
Cobra Kai culty almost, you know what I mean?
So if there's any of that, or just also, like, at the end of the day, like, you're a skilled grappler, you're a good coach, and that is to be respected, but, like, you just need a sense of humility still, and I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, overly authoritarian. Like, I've seen, like, really overly authoritarian environments, and to the point where it's very toxic. Like, just, so those are some things I would look out for in my experience, and things that we've had to deal with at certain points. So it's like,
Any red flags they didn't point out?
I think that if you're it all depends on what your aspirations are as a grappler. Like if you're in a room and you want to become the next Gordon Ryan or you want to become a high-level competitor, you shouldn't be at a gym where no one else has the same aspirations as you in order to be a competitor, because you won't see the full growth of who you can be. That was a big thing for why I switched. But everything they said was good, like cleaning the mats and stuff, like, of course.
Please clean the freaking mats, dude.
Yeah.
yeah.
Nobody needs
That
that,
needs to
yo.
Hygiene.
But another one that I've read is, and tell me if you agree or not, a lot of people think it's important. I agree with this. There's exceptions. If you're an MMA, UFC fighter training at one of the very elite gyms, this might not apply. But I think overall for jiu-jitsu specifically, it's important that your gym has either a good women or kids presence and or everybody could train with each other. Droogs,
right.
you know, AJ and Kat, when they were Droogs, they brought up and taught me that I should be able to train with the smallest girl in the room or the heaviest guy in the room, and everybody should be able to train with each other. So I know they take pride on that. I currently take pride that I can still do that. Do you guys all agree with that?
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, Julio, the coach at Momentum BJJ, he would always say the same thing. He would just say you can learn everything you need to know about the gym by how many women are training there, like comfortably training there. You know, like it lends a lot to what the culture of the gym really is, and I agree. You know.
Have any of you seen? You don't need to say any names or anything, but have any of you seen any like gym horror stories? Like, why is a 300-pound guy throwing this 105-pound white belt? Like anything like that? You were like, whoa! Like maybe it's not your gym, just visiting a gym. Have you seen anything crazy?
Oh, I'll flat out say we've had instances of it at our gym in the past, and we deal with it directly, but also professionally. Like it'll start with like a conversation, like, hey, you might just want to be more conscious of
Some people don't know.
what you're doing, right? Like, you know, I think it's, assuming nobody got seriously hurt, like it's okay to give that benefit of the doubt. Yeah, but at a certain point, it's got to be like, okay, you need to know what that feels like, you know?
Yeah.
Like, but, you know, I don't think you need to jump right there, and, you know, I don't like to do that. I'm just not somebody that likes to hurt people in general. Like, contrary to, I don't know how other people view me, but I'm not a very confrontational person, so it's like, I don't like to do that.
Right. You like to train.
Right.
Yeah, compete. I think jiu-jitsu is a sport for everybody, or at least it can be. Football, you get the jock sense. Skateboarding, you get the skaters. And every sport's kind of got their archetype. I don't know if jiu-jitsu has one, and I want to do a little test to prove this. What were your high school college, wherever you were social, what was your like archetype subgroup? I was a stoner skateboarder. Those were my friends in high school, and now I love jiu-jitsu. I get a sense we're not all the same. What was your subgroup in high school? Does that make sense?
I bowled.
You were a bowler?
Yeah.
Big Lebowski shit?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Proving my point. What about you?
I was in your crowd for the most part. I skateboarded. I had long hair that covered my eyes. I was like a scene kid.
Fuck yeah, me too.
And I didn't have any tattoos. I wanted them, but I didn't have any. Played a lot of video games. Dabbled into anime, but was never like hugely into it. So I was like in that crowd. But I did lift weights too, and I did also start training jiu-jitsu at 16. So
Sounds like you're pretty well-rounded. I wasn't that well-rounded.
I mean, not really. Like it sounds like it, but I was a fucking weirdo. Like I am
We
now.
all were,
like
bro.
it's just
We all are, bro. Jack, what about you?
Nah, yeah, I was in the same boat where before jiu-jitsu, I was definitely a interesting little weird kid. Like I fished and stuff, but didn't really like authority, so I just kind of smoked weed and hung out.
I fished on RuneScape, if that counts.
I still play RuneScape
So
to
do I,
this day.
man.
Let's go. OSRS for life.
yeah.
All right,
Iron
think
Man.
my prediction was wrong too. 3 out of 4 of us were stoners in high school. So
I think
I wasn't a
jiu-jitsu
stoner.
is.
There you go. 2
I
out of
never
4
did.
of us.
I never did well with weed.
I think jiu-jitsu is the reason I'm not a complete degenerate. So I can give it credit for that.
That's a common theme. I had my trouble days back in before I got into jiu-jitsu. I can't say jiu-jitsu like saved me from the streets type of story, but it keeps a lot of people out of trouble. Even getting out of practice, I'm driving home like, all my aggression's out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. Is that the case for all of you? Jack just said it. Did jiu-jitsu save you both?
No.
No?
It's never like that.
It's not the inspiring story. You just do it to have fun.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Well, I respect it. It still keeps you in line though, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. When I
James
say
got
when
some demons in his body.
when I do
still
say
trying to be
reckless
safe.
things, I'm able to defend myself now.
Very fair point.
Yes.
Very fair point. And I know jiu-jitsu did a lot for you. Nick,
In a certain respect, yeah.
But even so, every match you have, every post-fight, you put an emphasis on mental health. Mm-hmm. And I know that has to be intertwined with the sport. Maybe it's just because that's when we talk to each other. But I guess how are they intertwined? Elaborate on that.
So, believe it or not, jiu-jitsu has both been good for my mental health and bad for my mental health. It has, on one hand, given me, confidence in just myself and, like James was saying, ability to defend myself, physical fitness, just things that make everybody more confident, right? Like those positive things. Mm-hmm. Something to do after work, right? That's positive and that's not like drinking, drugs, smoking, or anything that's bad, Right. So it gave me all of that, and it even served as like a sense of community, therapy, like because I'm around people, making friends. So, like I could sit here and list positive things it's done all day. The negative things it's done for me is, of course, as I became a competitor, and I mean, my mental health is it's like a stock, right? It goes like this.
Sure.
So right now I was kind of like down here for a bit, and now I'm making my way back up again, like as we speak. And one thing I've learned about myself recently is that, because of like a lot of things that's happened in my childhood and whatnot, I have a low sense of self-worth. And that's a slippery slope because we often confuse self-esteem with self-worth is one thing I've realized. So jiu-jitsu was good for my self-esteem, but it was actually bad for my self-worth because I over-identified with it, you know what I mean? Because I'm Nick. I'm Nick that does jiu-jitsu. I'm not like a jiu-jitsu guy that's named Nick,
Sure.
And that wording is very important because when things don't go my way in jiu-jitsu, because I attach so much self-worth to it and so much, it's like how things are going on the mat can have too much of an impact on my mood. And that's not a healthy way to live, because like everything, there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's just a thing I do, It's like RuneScape,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes you get the drop that you want, other days you don't. But you can't let that impact how you feel about yourself, It's just something that you do.
Well, especially because jiu-jitsu, MMA, combat sports, when you win, it's a different feeling of winning. It's like a highest of highs. It's a very stereotypical statement and phrase, but it's true. It's the highest of highs, and when you lose, it's a different loss. It's like one of the lowest of lows. It's not, I keep going to other sports, but NBA, there's 82 games in a season. Mm-hmm. NFL, you got 18 weeks with 55 people on a team. There's in combat sports, it's typically one-on-one. You get 1 or 2 matches. If it's a tournament, obviously different, but it's just so personal. There's so much emotion tied to the experience, win or lose. But we always see fighters and grapplers after a win. That's when I talk to you guys on the mic. The camera doesn't follow James to the locker room after your 2 arena losses.
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean? So give me an insight. We'll start with James. Or Nick, go ahead. What were you
Well, I
saying?
wanted to say something on that first because, you know, based on my own experience, I can disagree a little bit because I've had some of my best like feelings after some of my losses.
Right.
Like
Just in terms of growth, or
in terms of growth, in terms of conquering things in myself, in terms of my progress with jiu-jitsu, and just feeling, you know, like the mission was still accomplished, you
Sure.
know? I like take a look at my match with Andrew Cockle, right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't win that match, but like that was Andrew Cockle. You know?
Yeah,
like
right.
like look at the performance I just had against Andrew Cockle, you know? And there's been plenty of other tournaments, even just against like other guys too, that you know that aren't as well known, but they're still skilled in their own right. That I've walked out and have just been like, that was a great match. I found that leg entry that I never found before. I hit a takedown that I never hit before, or even just I had a good fight is enough for me sometimes, you know.
well, the mission's accomplished. You made it.
And that
that's
lends to what
valid.
I was saying earlier, you know, about just like, you know, you lost the match, like, but you're good, like, you're fine.
You get to go home.
Exactly. I
Life
get
goes
to go
on.
home, and I get to go home to my wife, chill, like, and you know, whether I win, it's gonna be the same thing, right? I'm gonna go home, hang out with my wife, and I'm still going to work on Monday, like,
Yeah.
for me, you know, like,
No,
and it might mean more for like other people that maybe are taking this farther than I am, but you know, I can always take that solace.
And I don't compete at as high level as you guys do, but from my competitions, I never won a medal. I think I have like a 500 record. That's great. Like you said, I felt accomplished even after my losses because I put the training in, I made the walk, I overcame those fears, didn't get my hand raised in all of them, but it was a win. I went home with a smile on my face after those events. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, to what you're saying. Do you agree with that, or like are you one of those people that takes losses way harder?
I lost my first 21 BJJ matches when I first started competing.
That's impressive.
And
though.
relate.
That's impressive.
Yeah. I kept saying to myself, I can't go out like this. Like I got So I kept
I mean, I know
going.
that feeling.
And I couldn't believe I won my first match when I did. And that was pretty. But I think that once you just start to realize that, like, the only one who has to deal with the loss is you, and the only one who's affected by their sleep at night is you when you lose, like, it really doesn't, like, matter that much because, like, the world keeps spinning. Like, it's just like, no
It's an amazing
no
point.
one is going to ever make life-changing money unless it's, like, 80cc.
There's 10 guys that will.
Yeah. Like, people win world. There's
I mean,
plus
it's
plenty of...
$10,000 for ACC.
Yeah, CGI.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
CGI.
There's plenty of people
but-
who are world champions who are dirt poor, who have less money than probably half the people who are walking around this arena right now, and they dedicate their whole life to BJJ. So, like, winning and losing doesn't matter. It's all about just becoming a better grappler at the end of the day. Because, like I said, like, if you lose like a Grappling Industries or a Naga, it doesn't really like matter. Like on a super fight, it's a little bit more personal because there's people in the stands. But like no one's only people paying attention to your match when you're at a tournament and you lose. The people who are supporting you and want to be there for you, whether you win or lose. So it doesn't really matter.
I mean, even the super fights, you know, like it stings for like a week or two, but then like you
just
said,
get over it.
the world keeps spinning.
Yeah,
Like
and
I
you still
lost
go
to
to
Nick
work.
Salas pretty badly on Fury, like right before the new year, and that stung a lot. Like I was a hot mess for like 24 hours. But again, then I had to like realize, like what I said earlier, like, all right, hold on. Like you lost to a skilled opponent. You know why you lost. It's not that deep. Like pick yourself back up. And the world keeps spinning. And I think James made an awesome point there.
You agree, Jack?
Yeah, no, I definitely know quite a bit about losing. I actually have a losing record in arena. So
Do you really?
Yeah.
You've been on a tear lately, but elaborate, continue.
Yeah, but it's like a lot of those losses, it's like there's some fucking good guys in here. And like Jacob Campbell, for example, fucking Penn State wrestler.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I can't pull guard, fuck. So, and I wrestled with him. We went to a draw. I couldn't get a win, but I felt pretty good on the feet. I mean, he snapped my dumb ass down once or twice, but it was still like that was a personal challenge. And like sometimes you lose matches, and like you said, it's fucking it sucks for about 24 hours, and then next day comes and you got other shit to do, and then life moves on.
You just start moving on. You go back to train, and you're just like, okay, whatever. Mm-hmm. It helps if you have another one on the calendar soon, like I did now.
That's also the cheat code. You can't be mad about a loss when you got a tournament next week.
Right.
So
Just get it right back, baby. Get it right back.
But it is good to sit with the feelings a little bit too. I mean, that's more mental health stuff, right? It's easy to like just avoid the negative feelings, but I think it's also really important in my case to just sit there and be like, hold on, why do I feel this badly about it? Like, you know I train hard. I know even if I decided to like stop doing jiu-jitsu or like whatever, like you're still good. Like you're fine the way you are. Why do you feel this bad about it? You know, like
Yeah, sure.
You know, it's important to sit there and really think about that, in my opinion, and that's helped me a lot. You know, because I find that it just doesn't make a lot of. I can't rationalize it. I'll only speak for myself, right? But I can't rationalize it for me personally, you know?
Something you said earlier that I thought was funny, I think everyone laughed, is you haven't changed much. Now you can just back it up a little bit, right? BJJ, we're talking about competition here, has a lot of practical perks as well in everyday life, whether it's flexibility or confidence or whatever it be. One of those practical abilities is just being able to fight and defend yourself a little bit more than the average person. I think a white belt with 2 or 3 stripes, 4 stripes in jiu-jitsu can probably hold their own against 90% of the population, barring a ridiculous like height or weight advantage. Have you ever had to use BJJ in the streets, whether it's to break up an altercation, to get out of an altercation, to start an altercation, anything between any of you?
Yes, at the bowling alley.
What the hell happened at the bowling alley, man?
My friend John thought he could take me down and beat me up, and then I just choked him out.
But was this like malicious or just a couple guys fucking around?
He was like pissed drunk, but he's like always drunk, so it was like no different than any other day.
Is this a big weight discrepancy? Or?
No, I was a little bit bigger than him, but like he had like that.
So you
like
just
that, be
bullied
like that.
your drunk friend?
He was like 30 something. I wouldn't say like bullied him. Like he bullied me when I was younger, so like it makes sense.
All right, so you got him back. Did you sleep him in the middle of the bowling alley?
No, someone dragged me off him.
But you were like literally gonna sleep. Like,
someone like said like, hey, if you put him to sleep, I'll give you $20. So I was like, sure.
And you didn't get the $20?
No, someone dragged me off him. I was like, damn.
Could we set this rematch up in arena maybe?
Probably not.
I'm just being hopeful. I
know.
want to see some bowling alley.
You might get your $20.
Yeah.
You might get the $20. Maybe a bonus, perhaps.
Maybe.
You ever had to use jiu-jitsu? You're not a violent person, like you said, but it ever happened?
No, actually, I was out one time, and some guy, I don't know, he just like got mad at me because it was a long time ago. But I was in a Latin club with some friends, and I asked somebody to dance, and it happened to be this guy's girlfriend.
Oh goodness!
So he came over to me, and I would have just been like, okay, no problem, but he swung at me. So
just off the bat,
like literally, but he was like really drunk too. So I remember it was just like, I just closed the distance, and I had like a clinch on his back, and then I remember I was literally walking with the guy, just like. Because, I was, close, so he couldn't really punch me. He was still swinging like this, and I felt his fists, here, but I was like, whatever. I was still, level-headed at this point.
cauliflower here. I don't feel shit.
I don't even think they were that bad at this point, because this was a long time ago. This was,
wow.
This was, 2018, 2019. It was a while ago.
Damn.
So, that happened, and then I remember, his girlfriend was like, I'm so sorry. I remember peeking my head out, just it's okay, don't worry about it. I'm still level-headed, and security comes over, and I'm just like, can you take this guy? And then the bouncers took him, and they were getting ready to take me, and I was like, listen, man, he just swung at me. I was just holding him, waiting for you guys to take him.
Hey,
but
man.
all I did was, if the cameras want to see it, can I do it on you? Mm-hmm. All I did was this. I had him like this, and I had his arms like this. He actually had an underhook on me, so if he knew anything, he could have done something about it. But I was just like this. Just carrying him like that.
Just keeping the peace.
Hey, that was the closest I've ever had to.
That's why jiu-jitsu is good. It's you can disengage.
Yeah, I didn't have to hurt anybody. I didn't have to, so overall it was
could have. But he could have.
I could have. I was like a blue belt at the time, I think. A blue or just coming up on my purple belt. But yeah, I had enough to do stuff.
Jack?
No, nothing personally. I don't have any interesting stories, but a guy I know told a story one time where he was driving and then a dude cut him off, road rage, yada yada. They both pull over. He gets out. The guy charges his car. He throws a body kick, and he said the dude checked it, and there was a moment where they looked at each other wait.
We're not doing this here.
Yeah, and then they just both got in their cars and drove away.
Maybe we'll meet on the regional scene someday. Not here, bro.
Yeah,
Well,
wasn't me.
I always preach, like, as people that train especially, it's important to, like, keep your ego in check and be aware that it's always best case scenario to avoid it at all costs.
Use those legs and run, baby.
Like, because 1, weapons,
Yeah.
2, the law, 3,
It's freak
other
accidents.
people getting damaged, financial issues. Like, there's just, even if you win, like, you're gonna lose in some way.
Yeah, there's
whether
no fair
that's you
fight.
punch somebody and they fall down and hit their face on the floor, and now they, like, kind of die, and now you have manslaughter charges.
Yep.
Or somebody hits you over the head with a bottle because, I don't even know, you're just in a bar and things like that happen.
It's not worth it.
Or you get jumped because their friends just decided they don't like that you could fight. Or just, because congratulations, you beat somebody up, and now what? Like, it's just, you don't have to prove anything to anybody, just get yourself out of there, let them say whatever they want to you, especially if you're, like, if I'm out somewhere with my wife, like, I heard somebody say, like, focus less on, I forgot what the word was, but they say focus more on duty, right? And what's my duty in this situation, right? My duty is to get myself and my wife out of there safely.
Yeah, get home
right?
safely.
My ego wants to fight this person and show them what trouble their mouth can get them into and what this, but, like, no, like, if I do that, I'm putting myself in danger, I'm putting my wife in danger, I'm putting other people around me in danger.
Sure.
Like, nothing good comes from the situation, And I feel like we kind of hold that responsibility as people that actually do this too, just don't. It's easier for me because I just don't leave my apartment anymore, so.
Yeah, right.
Unless I'm, like, doing this, so it's easy for me now. But.
There was emphasis on the self-defense aspect. Don't condone violence. That's why we do this, to get out of hairy situations, God forbid, and to compete and have fun. But last thing I want to do real quick, I got the wrap-up warning from the boss man, Joe. One dream arena matchup from each of you. I'll go first, just so you know what I'm talking about. Hopefully we can make these kind of things happen in 2025. Andrew Cockle, Keith Krikorian. That's my dream arena matchup. Hope we can see it happen someday. Do any of you have a matchup? You can include yourself. Anything you'd like to see happen this year.
I'm just going to go for the clout. I'm going to say Nick Toscano and Keith Krikorian.
Yes,
Another absolute potential banger right there. Certified fresh by Jake, by the way. James, anything?
I got nothing.
Where, are you an arena casual?
Yeah, a little bit. I guess Keith versus, like, anyone on the top of the squad. I mean, I guess, like, him versus Cottrell. I don't know.
Nick
Dude.
Toscano and Keith.
Sure. Yeah,
Toscano and Keith.
Yeah, that could work.
That's
Keith.
2, Keith. That's 2.
Sudden and Keith?
Oh, yeah, right. Sure, buddy.
And Keith will probably beat my ass too, but it'd be cool to get in here with him.
Keith's excited. Keith, we're talking about you. Come back. Baby, come back. I don't know, Joe. You can have some music in there or
beating
something.
me in the match.
All right. Well, I think that's a good stopping point. We got Arena 22 to prepare for, but that was Arena Podcast number 1. Thank you guys for sitting here and talking with me. Very glad we actually made it to 22 arena cards. I'm sure we have many more to go. I'm sure this won't be the last time. We got 3 dudes on the couch and me talking to them, interviewing them. Pun intended. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We will see you guys soon. Don't miss Arena 22.